preparing for what could be the most difficult challenge we've ever undertaken. You see, today I'm going to push myself to the very limits of my physical and mental capabilities, and along the way try and find my breaking point and maybe even find myself. Who knows? Here's the game plan. We're going to start at sea level and we're going to travel up to almost 10,000 feet above. We're going to do it over a span of 300 miles. 26 of those miles are going to take me through the frigid waters of the North Pacific. The balance are going to be through some of the most incredibly rugged and spectacular landscape this side of the moon. It's all going to culminate at about 9,200 feet at the snow-capped, glacier-tipped Mount Garibaldi. And if that isn't enough, I'm on a time clock. 24 hours. Hi everybody, I'm Angelo. Welcome to this week's Outdoor Journal, and welcome to supernatural British Columbia, the perfect backdrop for this incredibly challenging adventure. By the way, you didn't think I was going to do all that afoot, did you? Well, if you did, you're either not a regular viewer of this program or you're completely out of your mind. We're going to employ 5 different means of transportation to complete this wacky adventure. We call it the ultimate adventure trip for the traveler who's done it all. Vancouver and surrounding area has so much to offer, but instead of going from place to place covering a vast area, I'm going to take my adventure straight up from sea level to 9,700 feet. I plan to see it all. I'll start my quest in Horseshoe Bay. From there, I'll cross the waters to Squamish. Then it's off to the magnificent Chatterbox Falls. And if that wasn't enough, it's up and away in a plane to Mount Garibaldi. This is going to be a real planes, boats, and automobile kind of a show. But before we start, I just had to take in some of that Vancouver culture. It's sometimes called California North. It may not have the same relaxed feel as its seaside cousin to the south, but Vancouver has a flavor that's all its own. Chris of All Terrain Adventures has promised to show me as much as he possibly can. Nice car, eh? Somehow I feel this vehicle may end up an important part of my adventure. First, it's off to Horseshoe Bay. You can usually tell what to expect on a trip just by your attire. Now, if I were getting into white shorts and, say, a polo shirt, well, you'd expect me to be saying, "Shuttleboard on the Lido deck, anyone?" But this heavy waterproof outerwear tells me there'll be no cocktails with the captain tonight. These suits will also act as a life jacket should anything happen.
Like to welcome you both on the Sea Safari. Glad you could be with us today in the beautiful scenery. We've got a gorgeous afternoon. It's looking absolutely marvelous.
Now this is much more exciting. Because there's so much nature out here, there are lots of tours like this. They can be as short as an hour or as long as several days. Some follow the shore and some head straight out to watch the whales. Today, we'll see the seals, and getting there is half the fun.
Body of water that we'll be traveling on today is known as Howe Sound. Now, Howe Sound is actually was created by a glacier about 10,000 years ago. So it's created a long time ago for our pleasure here today. We're going to be heading north up Howe Sound to the head of Howe Sound, a place called Squamish. And en route, I hope to bump into a few of the harbor seals out there, some of our local wildlife.
Now here's something I wasn't expecting, eagles. But I'm told these wonderful creatures are in abundance in some areas. In Brackendale, just an hour north of Vancouver, over 3,700 of these birds of prey can be counted. They come to feed on the salmon, which are equally as abundant. It sounds like this is the thrill ride for the person who's just about done it all.
Yeah, just about done it all. We've taken first-class forms of transportation, what we call the ultimate day of adventure, and we've taken some of the best forms of adventure in the corridor, the Sea to Sky corridor, and combined them to make kind of the ultimate day.
Well, here we are. This is Tam Rock. This is one of the best areas to come and watch the harbor seals.
That's them right here, isn't it?
That's them right there on the rocks. We'll see how close we can get.
Well,
They're quite curious, the harbor seals, so we should be able to get within about 50 yards of them.
And they're here all year round?
All year round, yeah.
They're a weird looking color to them.
Yeah, well, the color is basically because with seals, they're a harbor seal, so their markings are a light colored ring that's on a dark fur. Like when they're born, they're just this plain black, and as they get older, their rings start developing, and they tend to blend together, like freckles, and then that gives them that multicolored look. We're really lucky here too, because we can get really close to these seals without
Is this
them
normal?
scaring.
Can you
No.
usually get this close?
No, it's not normal at all.
Coming up on the Outdoor Journal, hiking to a watery jewel in the forest. And now, back to the Outdoor Journal. Welcome back to Supernatural British Columbia, Canada. Now, remember, I said this was going to be a real planes, boats, and automobile kind of a show. Here comes plane trip number 1. I'm in Squamish, BC, about 40 miles up the coast, as the eagle flies, that is, north of Vancouver. With so much of British Columbia covered in mountains, this is the fastest way to go. In fact, there are many places that if you don't have a plane, you're just not going to get there. The airplane of choice today is a single-engine float jobby. They're small and easy to maneuver, and those floats are an absolute must. Logging, of course, is a big industry here, but over 10% of the province is protected land. This represents millions and millions of acres. And talk about a big province. Here's a bit of trivia you can drop at your next adventurer's party. If British Columbia was a country, it would be the 30th largest in the world. Now, with that much size and a relatively small population, you can go for miles and miles and never see a soul. This has made it a haven for the outdoor adventurer. It's scenery like this that draws in over 8 billion tourist bucks a year. And get this, in a recent poll, the satisfaction rate of BC tourists was a remarkable 99%. Like, who's going to complain about a view like this? But enough of the airborne stuff. It's time to hit terra firma and do a little hiking. This time to Chatterbox Falls. The falls are at the head of Princess Louisa Inlet. As with so many places, this is only accessible by boat or float plane. This isn't so bad. This inlet was carved out of granite by the force of ancient glaciers. The trees and underbrush quickly took over when the glaciers receded. This left behind a gorgeous tranquil valley. Chatterbox Falls is the big draw, but all along the trail are numerous brooks and mini falls. The area around Chatterbox Falls was once private property, but the owner donated it to the public with the intention of preserving it for the enjoyment of all. And by the look of the well-worn trail, I'd say lots have enjoyed it. Vancouver is the West Coast gateway to the Rockies. As one of Canada's major cities, there are dozens of flights from all over the world in and out of Vancouver Airport. As a seaside city, it's the jumping off point for tour boats and cruises. There's everything from a 1-hour trip around the harbor to adventures that take you as far afield as Alaska and the Bering Strait. For those that want to stay in Vancouver, just pick your fancy. Nightlife, theater, museums, restaurants, it's all here, only a few short miles outside of downtown Vancouver. With the sea wind in your face and the mountains to your back, you don't have to go far to find the wilderness. Coming up, a gourmet meal that's worth climbing a mountain for. And now, back to the Outdoor Journal. We're in beautiful British Columbia. This is a lap of luxury, being chauffeured to my next destination.
Well, this is where we head off-road.
This doesn't look bad. Straight ahead.
Straight ahead.
Okay. Maybe I'll just lay back and enjoy the scenery. So much for a nice relaxing view out the window. This is more like a rocky roller coaster in slow motion. I sure hope we don't get lost. I don't think I saw a gas station. Not that two real men would ever ask for directions anyway. Looks like there's only one way to go, and that's deeper into the forest. This isn't getting any easier, folks. It's now real clear why Chris calls his company Vancouver All-Terrain Adventures. Obviously, this is the end of the. We start hiking from here on in.
Well, it looks like it. We've still got a little ways to go, but
You're not going over that.
we are. It's a little
Why don't
bit
we just hike it? How much farther can it be?
Well, we got another mile to go before
All right.
we put the backpacks on, but this
Okay.
is a bit of a staircase.
A bit of a staircase.
What we're going to do is probably winch up to that tree right up there, and we'll kind of pull ourselves up over this staircase here. So,
Just like that.
yeah, just like that.
What do you want me to do?
We can build this up a little bit, and then we'll get the gloves out and pull out the winch cable, and we'll hook ourselves up onto that tree.
Seeing as this is going to take a while, how about a quick geology lesson? What my friend and I are trying to get over is the rock and rubble left by the creation of the Rockies. In geological terms, these mountains were formed just last week. Well, actually, about 100 million years or so ago. And it's because these rocks are so new that they're still very rough. Wow, that's gotta hurt the old suspension. Hey, there's off-road, and then there's no road, and then there's no chance. We're almost there, buddy. We made it.
This is where we stop.
That's it.
The backpacks on.
Beautiful. Okay, I have a sneaking suspicion that might have been the easy part. What do you think?
Yeah, we got a bit of a hike here.
That, I don't mind telling you, before we get into the hike, that was without question, that was the most exaggerated 4x4 trip. I've done a few 4x4 trips, but that is not for the average person.
No, it's pretty aggressive.
That is very aggressive, and coming up on that winch, the old heart was going. But it was a thrill. I think what really amazes me is that this type of vehicle, I mean, basically a luxury vehicle, is capable of getting through there.
That's right.
Good
Yeah.
stuff.
This vehicle continues to impress us.
Okay,
So-
but that's behind us.
Very good.
I want to talk about what's up there.
Yeah, we're on to the chalet.
Okay.
So we have a bit of a hike. We'll be going up through some meadows onto the ridge, and we'll start getting some spectacular views. The weather's breaking on us here. We're gonna
Yeah, we
back
might
to
get some
blue sky.
sunshine before this is all over.
Yeah.
So I guess the mechanical power is gone and the leg power takes over.
Yep. Exactly.
Let's go, my friend.
Okay.
I ain't getting any earlier. I ain't getting any younger, that's for sure. spectacular. Just breathtaking.
Yeah, there's Cloudburst Mountain right there, the range. And as we move over to the right, you can see the sharp, jagged edge of Black Tusk.
That's spectacular. It's not the same construction, obviously, as the regular mountains.
No, it's a volcanic rock that's popped through a glacier that used to be here about 10,000 years ago.
Well, I was looking for a Rocky Mountain adventure. Somehow, I don't think there's a Mickey D's at the end of this. All I can say is there better be something really good at the other end of this trail.
Hi Chris, what took you so long?
I can't believe it. How you doing, guys?
Hi.
We made it.
Great.
I'm starved. Ah, this is the life. Doing two of my favorite things, having an outdoor adventure and eating. Did somebody say champagne?
What we're specializing in is to serve a good food in unusual places.
Now this is unusual. Manfred, our chef, prepares all of this in his home in Vancouver and then brings it to strange places, like the top of a mountain. Now I know how I got here, but I want to know how did all this wonderful food get up here? Ah, and here comes yet another mode of transportation in the mountains. Get ready for plane ride number 2 in my upward adventure of British Columbia. Would you believe it? This is just another one of those things that my guide Chris has provided. We're in the mountains around Canada's famous Whistler, specifically Mount Garibaldi. Not only do they use these choppers for sightseeing, but in winter, there's heli skiing. In the summer, anglers from all over the world come here to be whisked away for some heli fishing. For the nature lover, there's heli hike and heli picnic. As for me, I'm just here for the heli bit. Whoa, beautiful. Even nicer from up here than down below. How bad up? That lake looks like it's painted. That does not look like real water.
Yeah, extraordinary. The lava that came down from the volcano to our rear right pitched up the existing ice flow at the time, and then as the ice melted off, it created this lake here. This whole area was volcanic, and most of the major volcanic action and ice and snow was about the last ice era, which was about 12,000 years ago. We're just coming over what's referred to as the musical bumps. It's piccolo, flute, and oboe, which is just about underneath us now.
Okay.
And this area here is very popular hiking.
Looks like a great hiking trail.
Oh, it's stunning. Now we're just following one of the rivers down. This is referred to as Colored Creek. And we're actually down in the lava flow right now. This river's cut down in here. And you can see the waterfall ahead is another river that's come down from Table Mountain. And it just found its way across the lava flow above us and then finally dropped into the main water stream here. And it's incredible. It's nice, huh? Oh. Yeah, you can see these are referred to as ice towers or seracs.
Wow.
The cracks in the ice are referred to as crevasses. And the white stuff is the snow. It sounds somewhat obvious, but the really mucky looking here is the ice itself.
Now this might be a strange request.
Yeah.
Have you ever dropped anybody off? Like, can you... I guess what I'm saying is, I might as well not beat around the bush. Is there any way that I can touch that stuff and still be safe?
Oh, well, actually we land up here a lot, especially in winter. Yeah, especially in winter. This is a heli ski area, so they use the helicopter to replace the lift line that you would normally use for heli skiing. That's what the helicopter does.
Well, buddy, I'm your guy. Drop me down. Here's what I'm talking about. Snowball fights in the middle of July.